Hello, my friends. We're going to talk a bit today about yoga and A Course in Miracles, how they tie together, how they can tie together. That specifically, we're going to talk about yogic psychology, that the cause of suffering, as seen through the lens of yogic psychology, that we suffer because of what's called the five afflictions of the mind, or the kleshas, that our mind is clouded by five aversions in no particular order. Ignorance, that we are ignorant, that our mind is clouded, that we think that we are freely choosing the course of life, that we don't see the following. Number two, being addicted to our attachments, the things that we like, the things that we love, that we want these things to always stay the same. The pleasant things, the fun things, the non painful things, the things that we cherish. And of course, life doesn't work that way. Um, it's always emotion. So we find ourselves losing the things that we are addicted to being attached to. So we suffer. And then we have the opposite, being addicted to our aversions, that which we don't like, the painful stuff, the sorrowful stuff. Um, and again, unfortunately, life doesn't work that way. Some things that we might categorize as bad are going to happen. We're going to suffer. We are going to experience grief and sorrow and illness and the host of things that come with being human, as well as just plain slightly uncomfortable situations that we find ourselves in that for some reason causes great suffering because, again, we're holding them as aversions. It's creating a large amount of suffering because we simply don't want them there. Then we have the fear of death. Fear of death, um, a lot of people sort of argue with and say, well, it's going to happen. I'm not really afraid of it. But they don't really think about it. It's sort of as a underlying issue. The fear of death is related to the last one, which is the belief that we are a small, separate, independent ego, forging our way through life, and that the ego is always grasping and grabbing and pushing and shoving and saying, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine, I want, I want, I want. That's what's going to die. And the underlying fear that we are that and that it is impermanent causes a great deal of fear. So we act on this. We project it, all of these, out into the world, and that's the world that we see. The more we act upon it, the more it creates a mental pattern. In yogic psychology, Buddhist as well, it's called samkaras, mental imprints. It's like the LP albums. You put a needle on, you're always going to hear the same song that you put the needle on each and every time. If you put it on a Beatles track, you're going to hear Beatles, that particular song. You can't put it on there and then expect to hear another band, no matter how much you might want to. So we've grooved in these mental imprints. Some say lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. That's pretty bad. Even if we don't believe that, even just this lifetime, that's bad enough. So, yoga says the way to overcome this is through the path of meditation, that we reach samadhi, bliss consciousness. And we do that through the 8 limbs of yoga, or karma yoga, selfless service, or bhakti yoga, the yoga of devotion, or jnana yoga, the yoga of knowledge. And all those ways work. And they're lifetime paths. And they're wonderful. I absolutely love my yoga practice, and I love my meditation practice. A Course in Miracles says yes to all that, but they sort of summarize it and they say, let's just call it all fear. Let's not dive into the 5 afflictions. Let's just say this is fear, and it's fear because of the belief that we are small, separate entities, that we are egos, and that we have a large amount of guilt for the ego being separate from the source, and we're projecting this out into the world. and it's causing a world of turmoil, a world of suffering, um, the world in which we see. Yoga would agree. It's good to take that simple path. And they would still say meditate, breath work, asanas. And again, all of those work. But A Course in Miracles simplifies it even further. And they say, don't work with the effects. Go to the cause. And forgive the cause. Forgive the grievances. Forgive the resentments. Forgive the fear that is causing all of that. Because when we forgive the fear, when we ask for a miracle through forgiveness, and the miracle is called an atonement, and it is the healing of our separation. We ask for a miracle, and we receive it. And when we receive it, we're no longer projecting that fear out into the world. Now we are extending in love, which is also the end result of the yogic path. So, for me, I practice A Course in Miracles. I practice yoga. I don't see really any separation between the two. It's a seamless path, and I absolutely love it. Because A Course in Miracles gives me a practical right now, this instant, means of healing. I forgive. If I see anything that is causing me any sense of unease, of turmoil, if I am uncomfortable with someone, with whatever someone might be presenting me, it's a sign to call for a miracle, call for the atonement, forgive, and to realize that that person in front of me, if it's a person, the event that's happening, is part of those samskaras. They are suffering their own 5 afflictions. They have their own samskaras. And the fact that I recognize them doesn't mean that I reach out to them and say, hey, that's just your samskaras talking. They're not going to be able to see that. What I do is turn within and I forgive the illusion of their separation from me. I ask for a miracle. That's it. So, for me, practice yoga. Practice forgiveness. Repeat as long as necessary. Guys, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the talk. Let me know if you do. Take care, guys.